you have these three ways of finishing the quest. If right from the start you announce yourself, you start a fair fight with the jailer, and you get approved by the king that represents the might. If we hide in wardrobe, we can decide to exit and purposefully start a fight and kinda show off, basically. So that's why we got approved by the. You can play the game for free. It's on itch for PC, Mac, and Android. Remember that it's just a prototype, so it's very short and may have some bugs. The game is meant for Android, so it may not be the best for the UI for PC and Mac, but it should work. I'm gonna tell you a bit about the game first, then show you some of the gameplay, and finally do something very, very technical with how I actually made the game from a programming thing-wise. You can always just choose a timestamp anyway. Hi, I'm Ricky. Today I'm gonna show you a game that I made some months ago. It's an old digital text adventure game inspired by the works of Lone Wolf and Fabled Lands. This stuff right here. I hate this game. I hate it, but I love it. I've played it a lot. It's got a lot of insta-deaths. The world is really well built though, and I had a lot of fun, but you always feel like you're trying to cheat the game basically. I wanted to build a similar experience where instead of having to go from point A to point B like in the Lone Wolf series, instead in this Fabled Land works, you have some sort of circular area. You have basically an open world. You can also travel from one book to another. It's really cool. Like, that aspect is really cool. So I tried doing the same thing in Unity, and yeah, it kinda backfired. There are a lot of tools online to build your own text adventure game, but they're all very basic. You just go from point A to point B. You have some binary options, so you can choose kinda your way to go, but in the end you always go to the same spot. I didn't want that, but apparently there's a reason why that doesn't exist. There are games like that, but not with Unity. Unity is a fantastic tool, but it's not meant for that. If you want something very specific like a text adventure game, you should probably make your own tool outside of Unity even. I tried using the inspector to fill the values. I also looked up something like JSON or some sort of other text file-based stuff, but in either case it wasn't enough, or it just wouldn't work. So I wanted to build this tool and also build a game to show how this tool works, and also to tell if the tool was actually good. In the end, I did neither of those things. The game that I had in mind is this one, Our Endless Emperor. It's a dark fantasy RPG with some elements of cosmic fantasy. The main idea of the game is that you are just a dude in a kingdom, in a huge continent made of 3 kingdoms, and every time you die, you get reincarnated into a completely different character that lives in another kingdom, and each character has to find a way to defeat their king. After you do so, you become the king, and then you get with a 4th and then after you defeated all 3 kings, you get their place, so you replace them, and then there goes a 4th character that has to defeat all your previous characters and then get court hearing to the Endless Emperor and defeat that, or replace the Emperor, or become one with the universe. There's actually a lot of backstory that I've written for this thing, but yeah, I couldn't get past 10 minutes of gameplay or something. So let's start with the opening screen. The cover art, which I'm gonna show you without the text, is made by a friend of mine. You can find his Twitter in the description. I think it's written it. Let's put the text back on. This is a basic opening scene where the text just fits in and it kinda shows the mood of the game. So the cover art explains perfectly that there's some kind of mystery in a very dark setting. Main menu, very simple. Let's create a character. Gonna name it Ricky. And here we choose our starting point. So based on what we want to be, it changes which kingdom we start from. And so it also changes who is our king. So in this case, I'm gonna go with the Emperor's layer. So if I hit confirm and then go to characters info, here's my character, and you see that it's 1 of 3, and it's blessed by a specific king. And then the first time we die, we have to go back here, make another character, and we're gonna fill in those slots. Start game. You are in a prison cell. You woke up here with no memories. We can inspect a cadaver, or we can look at the door. Let's look at the door. A locked door, you need a key. Well, let's look in our inventory. We have nothing. Here are our stats. Pretty basic for right now. Each stat represents some sort of guidance or approval by one of the 3 kings. You see later what it means. And finally, we have the map, which is not automated. Basically, it means that you have to draw your own map, which I thought would be really cool. You can do this, add room, then you select it and you say cell, for example. And here you have our cell. And then once we go further in the game, we can add another room, call it something else like cell entrance. And you can link it together. I made a grammar mistake. You can link them together to show that you can go from that place to the other. I thought that would be really cool, but apparently it's kind of tedious. Like, you do something in the game, right here, and then you kind of just go here and do the same thing again, basically. So yeah, unlock the door, you need a key. Inspect cadaver. A familiar looking body. You find a key in their pocket. Add that starting prison cell key to your inventory. And here it is. I had a lot of trouble making this menu. It just wouldn't work. The content size filter mixed with the vertical layout group, and then there was also the sliding thingy. Like, it doesn't show, but if there were enough items, you could use the wheel to go up and down, and that apparently was extremely buggy. But yeah, lock the door. You use starting prison cell key to unlock the door. There's a corridor in front of you. Go through the door. You are in the corridor just outside your cell. In front of you, the wall. If you want, we can go back, and that is the first example that we can actually travel wherever we want. It's not a course from point A to point B. So right now we have two options. Let's look left. On your left continues the corridor, nothing inside but cells. Let's look right. There's a huge hole in the ground, so deep you can see its end. This may seem very basic, but it was actually a pretty huge point in the making of the game. If you notice, we didn't actually do anything here. We are still exactly in the same point. We didn't save anything. It's just showing you that it's not just about going someplace, but it's also seeing things, reading a description, see what it says, and then make a decision based on what you've read. Alright, so now that we've seen stuff, let's decide, do we want to jump in the hole or go in the corridor and potentially meet a jailer? Let's go to the corridor. Prison corridor. The main corridor. There are two cells here and the jailer's desk a bit further away. Let's look at cell number 1. Cell number 1, a locked cell with no one inside but dust. And we don't have a key to unlock it, so we can't do anything. Let's look at cell number 2. Cell number 2, a locked cell. There's someone laying in bed, in fetal position, their back turned to you. You can hear them lightly coughing. And also we don't have the key for this guy. So, do we want to go to the desk room? Let's go to the desk room. I mean, I made this game, I know exactly what happens, but yeah. Prison desk room. You are at the start of a corridor. In front of you, there's a desk with some papers on. Next to the desk, a staircase leads down. At your right, attached to the wall, is a wardrobe. You hear someone whistling coming from the stairs. This game is meant for mobile, and mobile it's really easy to go up and down with this thing, but on computer the wheel is just so weak. So, do we want to hide in the wardrobe, or do we want to announce ourselves to the jailer? I'm gonna go with hiding in the wardrobe. And this that we are doing is actually a quest. If you see we can't escape, we can't do anything else, we have to make an instant choice. So let's hide in the wardrobe. You hide in the wardrobe. A fat man comes from the stairs. You can tell by the sound of his heavy steps that he is in front of you now, but not close enough to get a surprise attack. We have another choice here. We can exit the wardrobe right now and fight him with a somewhat fair fight, or we can wait some more and see if we can get a surprise attack later. I'm gonna exit the wardrobe. That was weird. You leave the wardrobe and scare the jailer. What in the hell? He exclaims as he leaves the cemetery in panic. You feel approved by Diano, beauty +1. You will fight Skeleton 1. Now this should say jailer, not skeleton, but yeah, bear with me. So this is your first fight. The fight is really simple. We have panels that indicate our enemy, in this case it's just one, it's a skeleton, and they also indicate as buttons so we can choose who to attack. In this case it's already automated to just one, so attack. We deal 2 damage by default, while this skeleton deals just 1, so we are gonna win. And here in the top we can see your health points. You attack skeleton for 2, skeleton attacks you for 1, attack again. And this time we win. You clear the room, looted, prison key 1. Here's our inventory, here's a new prison key, which is identical to starting cell key, but whatever. Alright, so let's finish the fight. You are at the start of a corridor in front of you, blah blah blah. You killed the jailer here before. So in the game, this is the same room. In the actual code, in the actual thing you have to do to go back here, it's a mess. You'll see later what I mean by that. Now that we have finished the quest, we can actually go back. We can go back to the corridor. We can also go further down, go to the ground floor of the prison, or we can inspect the desk. Let's inspect the desk, and we found some edible berries. Added 2 berries. Here they are. And we can use them to heal if we want. They restore 3 health. Right now we have 13 out of 15, so it will be a waste. Let's go to the main corridor. Let's go back. Let's go back to the cells entrance, and let's jump in the hole. You jumped into the hole and took 5 points of falling damage. 2 angry skeletons look at you with malice. You will fight skeleton 2. Now this could be a problem, because we already took 2 points of damage from the fight before, and we took an extra 5 now, so we could be in a bit of trouble. You see that now we have 2 enemies, we can choose which one to attack, so I'm gonna hit the first one, and he goes to 3, I'm gonna choose the second one, and he goes to 3, and you can see that this time we take 2 points of damage each turn, gonna hit him again, and because the player's turn goes first, we're only gonna take 1 damage now, yep, but this time we are gonna actually die if we don't do anything, so I'm gonna open the inventory, use some berries, and continue the fight. We cleared the room, looted, bone times 2. And here are our bones. You jumped into the hole and took 5 points of falling damage. You fought 2 skeletons here. There's a locked door, a locked jail door. There's a skeleton sleeping on a chair inside. We don't have the key. Let's go deeper in the cave then. You are deep in the cave. You can't really see anything. You hear water nearby. Do you want to look down or climb up? Let's look down. You can't see what's down there, but you feel that the passage is wide enough for you to go in. I don't want to go deeper in the cave, that sounds dangerous, so let's actually climb up. I said climb up, but actually meant follow the water, my bad. Follow the water. Water is running on your head and all your body. You can go deeper in the cave or climb the water passage. Let's climb. Pond. We have found a pond. It's actually a dirty pond, but here's a kick. We actually have unlocked a secret passage. If you go back, we're actually going back to the water passage, which is attached to the cave. And here it says prison entrance. Let's go to prison entrance. You're in front of the prison. We can choose to go back to the pond. We can inspect the door of a prison. We can go to the prison's back. Or we can go to the crossroad. Before we go more out in the world, let's finish our prison. So let's inspect the door. The prison door, it's locked. But we do have the prison's key. You can see it right here. We got it from the jailer. So if we try unlocking the door, we are able to do so and we can enter the prison. So now we are at the ground floor of the prison. But there is actually nothing in here, so yeah, we can just go out. Alright, so now we have finished the prison. The only thing that is left is that climbing down passage in the cave below the prison. I can also go at the prison's back. Before we do that, let me just show you the crossroad, because it is the actual latest thing that I've done. A crossroad full of signs. Let's see, we got the Cursed Prison. The sign points to the prison right across the road. Let's see the south sign. For the Silence Arena, go south and follow the heat. For the Time Lord area, go straight south and stop for the sea. Let's go west. I mean, text adventure games love silly rhymes. Anyway, let's go west. For the Manchester Town route, go west. I didn't have any rhymes left there. These 2 signs actually don't do anything. I need these 2 buttons. So let's go back to the prison entrance. And let's go to the prison's back. The building is half missing. The rocky foundation are torn apart as if something has chewed them. Do you want to go back to the prison entrance, or do you want to inspect them? Let's inspect them. There's a jug with purple vines growing from beneath and sprouting upwards in fire red flowers. Do you want to climb down these weird looking vines, or do we want to go back to the prison entrance? Now here's the kicker. I forgot to add something to the jailer's room. Supposedly there was going to be there some kind of journal that it will show you some of the log messages of the jailer saying what was going on in the prison. And one of the things that was found is that those fire red flowers are actually poisonous. So if you try to climb down, you grab the vines and begin your climb down. But as soon as you breathe the blooming flowers perfume, you drop that in the cave below, succumbing to the excruciating convulsions in the pitch black darkness. You died. So that was the first insta-death. I know I said I don't like insta-death, but yeah, sue me. I mean, it's part of the game. And death is not really that permanent in here anyway. You don't really lose much, and you're also meant to die sometimes to go to another kingdom. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Right now, the whole switching kingdom thing, it's implemented, but the thing is that the other kingdoms are just not there. They are not made. Let me go very quickly to the cave below, where we didn't go in the down passage. Here we are. You can see what's down there, but you feel that the passage is wide enough for you to go in. If we try to climb down into this weird cave, into the pitch darkness, with no tools whatsoever, we die. You venture deeper in the blind cave, only to sleep into what you thought was another pit. That was actually a giant creature's mouth. Yeah. And that was the second insta-death. Yeah, I know. And the final thing that I want to show you, and I said I will show you, but I didn't, I'm gonna show you now. Let's go back to the jailer's desk, which is right after the... Yep, here we are, right after the corridor. So here where we find the jailer that goes up from the stairs. And this quest is to show you that there are three main values in the game. You have might. Let me go to the stats. You have might, which is just power and also being fair in fights. You have wickedness, which is the exact opposite, but it's also the research for intellect and connection to the divine. And finally, you have beauty, which is all about conquer and showing off, and beauty also physically. And in this quest, you have these three ways of finishing the quest. If right from the start you announce yourself, you start a fair fight with the jailer, and you get approved by the king that represents the might. If we hide in wardrobe, we can decide to exit and purposefully start a fight and kinda show off, basically. So that's why we got approved by Diana and our beauty increased by 1 then. Or we can wait, the man is right in front of you now, and now we can surprise attack. And if we surprise attack, you burst outward and hit the jailer in the head. You kill him off before he regains consciousness. You feel approved by Ubnamu, wickedness +1. So this time our stat increase was wickedness, and we didn't even have to fight. So this is a bug, but this one we get the key. Get the key, and now we are at the exact same point from before, when we finished the quest the other way by fighting the guy. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the game. Like that's literally everything that there is in the game. Let me close that. Let's go back to the level and let me show you actually how I've done this. It is insane. I mean, look at this. This is the rooms folder. Each room, every time you see a different name here in the top, that's a different room. And each room is made by a lot of other things, a lot of room attributes. Here are all the rooms for the Might Kingdom, well, all the ones that I've made anyway. Let's go into the prison one. These are all the rooms just for the prison, and not even all of it. This is for the desk room. That small quest where you have to go in the wardrobe and choose how to kill the jailer. That's done with 3, 6, 8 different rooms. That's not sustainable. And each room, as you can see, it's a scriptable object. And not even that, we have 2 different types of rooms. We have cross rooms, which are some sort of main room, which then decides what part of the room you actually go into. And then you have the actual rooms, which is this thing right here, which is stupid. Why did I do that? Look at all this stuff in the inspector. Like, that's why you need an actual tool. You can just use the inspector for everything. I mean, Unity is great. You can definitely make a game just with that, but it's just not worth it. So for example, we can choose to which kingdom we belong to. We can choose the room name, whether we die on instant, like in the room below where you go into the monster's mouth. And then you have all the different room descriptions based on which part of the room you come from. Like for example, when you go into the pit, if you come from above, you take damage. So you have to show the description that says that you've taken damage. But if you go to the pit from just another room that is attached, then you don't get damage, so you have to show another room description. Then you can also add stats when we enter the room. We can do out of combat damage. Then there are all the rooms that are touched that you can go freely. So things like going from one corridor to another, that's a free room. And then you have prompts, which are the buttons that let you take action basically. So for example, inspect desk, that's something. In this case, it shows room descriptions. It deletes the button right after you use it. It's so much stuff. Yeah, you can add items. You can unlock another prompt. and that prompt to unlock, it's also a whole another thing. This thing can go actually forever, I think. The prompt can unlock another prompt, and that prompt can unlock another room, or even another prompt. So yeah, that's insane. You can also start a fight, you can tell how many enemies and which enemies to fight, and how much loot and what kind of loot. Oh my god, Jesus. I've done this, I think, 6 months ago, if not more. So I've definitely improved in the meantime, code-wise, organization-wise. But yeah, there are also rooms you can unlock with keys, hidden prompts which are unlocked with special events. There's some other fight room data. Oh my god. Yeah, so that's why I dropped it. But hear me out there. It's true that it's very complicated to make something like multiple choices dialogue, where you can just choose one thing and then go somewhere, but also then go back and do some other thing later. That's complicated to do with this set, but doing something simple like a lone wolf story, where just from point A to point B, you have a couple of choices in the middle, but those choices, they don't really interact with each other. That's the thing. That thing will be doable. Doing a story like that, like in Lone Wolf, it will be doable with this kind of madness. But I didn't want to make that. I wanted to make an open world project. I already had spent a lot of time on this game though, on this tool, so I couldn't be bothered really. Yeah, that's it. Remember, you can play the game for free on itch. It's for Android, for PC and for Mac. For PC and Mac, the UI could be a bit off because it wasn't meant for that, but the game itself should work nicely and done. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and notification bell, all the stuff. Yeah, and yeah, see you next time.